America's top diplomat has concluded his visit to Moscow, saying that Washington does not want to isolate Russia. John Kerry met with President Putin and Russia's foreign minister as the two sides prepare the ground for a fresh round of Syria peace talks scheduled for Friday.
Today we met here as a matter of good diplomacy to try to solve problems.
Washington appears to be toning down its earlier calls to put pressure on Moscow. RT correspondent Ilya Petrenko asked John Kerry if his visit was a sign of a shift in relations.
When international leaders are talking intensively with Russia, and you are here on Russian soil talking with the Russian president, where is that isolation? And was it premature to proclaim that isolation back then?
Well, let me answer the question by saying this. We don't seek to isolate Russia as a matter of policy, no. But we have consistently said that the world is better off when Russia and the United States find common ground and an ability to be able to work together.
In between meetings, John Kerry found time for a quick visit to the streets of the Russian capital. The diplomat, closely followed by his entourage, they strolled down the city's historic Arbat Street, posing for pictures. Kerry also popped into a souvenir shop, and here's what happened as he left.
Hi, how are you doing? I'm good. Hi, sir.
Very good.
I'm good. My name is Samir. I'm from Egypt, actually.
Glad to meet you, Samir.
Yeah, nice to meet you. So,
Anybody from Moscow here?
Moscow?
Yeah, from Moscow.
Yeah.
Pupils.
Yes, because my English is not so good.
Your English is very good, much better than my Russian. So, do I want to?
Do you want to wish something to Russian people?
Do I want to say something?
To wish something, Mr. John, to wish something to Russian people.
I want to wish that the Russian people and the American people are good friends and that our countries come together in peace.
Wow.
All right?
Executive Director of the Ron Paul Peace Institute sees Kerry's visit to Moscow as a positive step.
A very good sign that John Kerry actually went to Moscow, made the effort to go out there and had these high-level meetings. I think it's something very positive. But what is the reason for this apparent shift? I think the facts on the ground have changed in places like particularly Syria. Russia was very assertive several months ago, and they literally changed the situation. The U.S. was not counting on Russia being so assertive. The Russian move into Syria, based on a bilateral agreement with the Syrian government, has changed the facts on the ground. The aggressive American rhetoric, along with control of the skies and the ground in Syria, ended. And I think Washington took a long time to find its feet. Now they might be trying to attract some flies with honey instead of vinegar, as we say here.
Well, with further talks on Syria approaching, President Obama and his top general seem to be at odds over Washington's success in bombing Islamic State there.
We are hitting ISIL harder than ever. So far, ISIL has lost about 40% of the populated areas it once controlled in Iraq, and it will lose more.
Let me just say up front that I am not satisfied with our progress to date, and I won't be until ISIL is defeated.
Political commentator and writer John White thinks Washington's exaggerating America's success in battling the terrorist group.
President Obama is increasingly desperate. The attack in San Bernardino has increased pressure on his administration and is asking some serious and searching questions within the US over the extent to which America's efforts is bearing fruit. We know they've been bombing ISIS supposedly for the last 15 months. To little or no effect, given that ISIS in that time had managed to take Palmyra and significant other parts of the country. Whereas Russia in the last 3 months has proved a game changer. It started to target the convoys of the illicit oil trade between Raqqa and Turkey, which had hitherto been left unmolested by the US and its allies. We have the absurd situation where two entirely separate multinational coalitions are waging war in Syria against ISIS. That situation cannot continue, and this is why I think it's important that something changes significantly.